What's up, guys? So I just want to make this quick video to go over my watch list going into this week. Um, Starting off with Spy. So Spy, you can see here, um, we had this nice squeeze, pushed us up into 3 ATR, and we rejected right off that. Now we pulled back a little bit, and maybe we might get a reversion to the mean here in a few days, maybe this week. We'll see. But we're at 3 ATR on the weekly chart. So I'll just be aware we could see a pullback to the mean. Okay. And so one thing we kind of want to watch, that's what we kind of want to watch out for. On top of that, if we take a look at the QQQ, this one has been trading outside 3 ATR, which is pretty rare. Hit 3 ATR here. So we could see some consolidation. We could see a pullback, but we are firing this weekly squeeze on QQQ, which is definitely a bullish sign for sure. Um, so on top of that, we can look at a few other things here. Um, First, let's look at uh, the watch list here. So a few things that are on my watch list would be first is APO. So this one, you can see here, chart looks pretty busy, but it's pretty simple. They're just buy and sell signals. But you can see here, we've got a 2 hour buy signal, daily buy signal, 2 day, 3 day, and we should have a 4 hour. Okay, so momentum shifted a little bit, but we did have a 4 hour buy signals all this week, bouncing right off that 21 EMA. Can see the 2 hours got those buy signals and so on and so forth. So this stock looks great for a move upside. I'm looking for a break of these highs into 120 and potentially push through there. So I'm looking for a move to 2 ATR. I like this. Um, the trend is strong to the upside. And yeah, so we've got buy signals on all these different time frames. We do have a weekly squeeze. It just hasn't shifted. Momentum hasn't shifted, but you can see here we're keeping this steady uptrend. And if you're looking at what preceded what we previously had, you can definitely see here that we're looking for a continuation of what has already been in the past. Just a simple trend continuation of a stock that is strong with banks heading into earnings season pretty soon. We've got earnings coming up in August, but if you look at names like JPM, these names have earnings coming up pretty quickly, and APO is in the financial sector, so we can kind of expect the financials to have a run into earnings. And if we look at XLF, you can see here we've kind of just been consolidating, but we're bouncing right off that 21 EMA. We've got a 3 day buy signal. And so I think we could definitely see some continuation here on the financials with a run into earnings, which historically tends to happen. So, like if I went to a name like JPM, which is one of the top holdings, may be the top holding actually, and we look at the charts, you can see uh, we had earnings on this day, but you can see the absolute run up we had into that earnings. Here we didn't get that. We got it a few days prior, but it was more of a dead cat bounce. You can see here we had a nice run up into earnings, then sold off after. This here had a run up into earnings all the way up into here, and that was a nice move. This one we kind of chopped around, and then here we had a run up into earnings. So basically, I'm just looking for financials to run into earnings. We can take a look at APO, what it's done in the past. That's probably a lot more relevant. You can see the last earnings report we chopped around, but this one we had a nice move into earnings here, run up. Here we had a run up. Here we chopped around. Here we had a run up. Here we had a run up. Here we had a run up. This one we're in a downtrend, so it's not really relevant. But you can see the probably about that's about 4 out of the 6 times we have had a run up into earnings. and otherwise we just chopped. So that's all right. But I'm thinking, yeah, we can get a move. I'm looking for a move in the next few days slash few weeks here. Amazon, another name that I'm looking at. Now, this one has had a lot of different buy signals. You can see we've been consolidating for a while, but we've also had, we had a 4 hour. Oh, nope, sorry, wrong chart. Let's see here. So if we go to the 3 day, we've got a 3 day buy signal. We have a 2 day buy signal. And these blue candles indicate that there's multiple time frames with buy signals here. So we want to pay attention to that, as this could give us the continuation that we need. The daily will likely fire off. The weekly, or sorry, the daily will fire off the 2 day, and the 2 day will fire off the 3 day, and then hopefully the 3 day can fire off that weekly, and then ultimately that will bring us up into a new all-time high. We poked above it, but let's see if we can get that break, and then potentially a run into 200 with earnings season coming up. This might be the time to do it. Few other names. Google is a little far gone. We would want to see a pullback into this 177.50 area for an entry, but until then, we're gonna just have to hold off. Can't really take an entry here, so I would just be patient. Procter and Gamble. This is a good looking name. We've got multiple time frames with buy signals. That's what's indicated here on these blue candles. You can see the 30-minute, the 4 hour, the daily all have buy signals. Let's see what the 2 day is looking like. 2 day doesn't have buy signal yet, or the 3 day, but the squeeze has fired off, and we're continuing to the upside on Procter and Gamble. Another thing is you can see now we're trading above all-time highs. So, or the previous all-time highs. So, that kind of opens up the door for more upside. So we'll definitely want to keep an eye on this name. A few other names here. Spotify. I think this one's probably the one of the best looking ones going into the market this week. It's just in a really strong uptrend, and you can see we've been getting when we get these blue candles here. If I just oh, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so you can see here when we get these blue kind of buy signal candles, you can see that they kind of produce a move up pretty often. So what we're going to be looking for is we've got that on the past two candles. We've got a 4 hour buy signal, a daily, a 2 day. I believe we have a 2 hour. Yep. If I throw the buy signals back on there, you can see there's a buy signals on the 2 hour, and then 1 hour squeeze has fired off to the upside. 30-minute has not, but we've got all these time frames. So essentially the 2 day, the daily, the 4 hour, the 2 hour, the 60-minute has fired off, the 30-minute has not. So this just opens up a door back up into 330. So I really like this trade going into this week. And we're trading above this kind of resistance that's now turned to support. So that's a very good looking trade. This is probably my favorite setup going into this week. Little more speculative name is SMCI. We're kind of building this bull flag on the weekly time frame. We've got momentum lost, but that's okay. We're losing momentum on the weekly, but you can kind of see here what happened prior to what's kind of been going on for SMCI. You can see where we created this flag, got some buy signals, and had a nice move up. Let's take a look at like 3 day. Yeah, you can see the 3 day. We had buy signals, had that pop up. 2 day, similar story. Daily didn't really have anything. But right now, what we're seeing is the daily time frame has some buy signals that could trigger to the upside. We got our first buy signal on Friday. And so for this, I'm looking, okay, so we have a 2-day buy signal as well. So we've got a buy signal on the 2-day. We've got some pretty obvious resistance right here. Um, where we've kind of rejected multiple times around that 971. So I would kind of look to take a position here at this area and then look for a pop through this resistance zone. And once we break that, we can kind of start our upside move to past 1000. And so we've just got a lot of nested squeezes here. The 3-day is also a nested squeeze. So I think that we could potentially see some more upside on SMCI. So a little more speculative, definitely not the best looking chart out there. If I had to rank these, I would kind of have these two at the top, APO and Spotify, then Procter and Gamble, then Amazon. Um, Actually, I would actually put eBay above that. So eBay here. Uh, Last chart I'm going to give you guys. Zoom out. You can see we created this range on the monthly time frame, and we finally broke out of that resistance a few weeks ago. And now, if we can dive through each of these charts, right? So we have a 3-day buy signal. We've got a 2-day buy signal. We've got a daily buy signal, and we've got a 4-hour buy signal. So this thing looks ready to rip. It's breaking out of this little flag pattern, came back, retested it. This thing looks great for upside. Um, I really like this name for continuation. You can see the bull score 9 and bear score 1. If we look at these other time frames, 8 and 2, I mean, and we've got it kind of showing up right here. So, really good looking chart here. And I think there's good probability we're going to see continuation to the upside. And yeah, keep an eye on this. So, top of the watch list, they're pretty much all buy signals here. Um, you want to see, or so keep an eye on the indexes. If they revert back to the mean, you're going to have to watch out. And you can see based on these scores that this is starting to fall apart a little bit. And we want to pay attention to that. So if this pulls back and reverts to the mean, a lot of other things will probably pull back. Now, one of the things you want to pay attention to is that, like, for example, Spotify. Spotify had a nice day on Friday. Let's throw some volume on here. Let's see if we did have some good volume. We gotta remove this. So we had some pretty decent volume on Friday come in. It definitely wasn't low volume, and this was a strong looking candle. So a few things on top of that is that uh, what we want to be looking for is names that aren't necessarily following the indexes too heavily. And this is a prime example of that. You can see it was up 1.23% on the day when everything else, when the market was red. I know there was a dividend on Friday, so why don't we look at NASDAQ futures? Um, yeah, you can see we were down 0.24 on the day, and obviously this was showing strength. Amazon was showing strength. Google was showing strength. So those are kind of the names you want to pay attention to. And look at that volume, big volume spike there. So we want to pay attention to those names. Amazon, big volume. So there could be something interesting happening here. But yep. So APO, also a name that had big volume, big buyer wick. So let's pay attention to these names going into the next week. I hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.